down a sentence in the high-profile Sean Diddy Combs trial. The rapper was convicted on federal prostitution charges back in July. Let's go right now to Fox News national correspondent CB Cotton outside of the courthouse. CB?
Hey, well, yeah, the judge moments ago sentencing Sean Diddy Combs to 4 years behind bars, telling the court.
Okay, just real quick. This is no disrespect, but she is hot AF. Just had to say that. Good job. The brains and the beauty.
He took into consideration that Diddy was self-made, someone who lifted up others, supported his family. He noted that Diddy did a lot of this while even battling addiction, but he said he had to consider all of the rapper's history. And he said,
let me say this, what she just said. You know, as humans, we judge people so strictly and from a single lens when we do it in this kind of culture or mob mentality. If they're a bad person, they're a bad person. But like all humans, right, we have a shadow self. We have a self that is, you know, when we get wronged or when we get something bad happens to us, right, that energy, we have to process that. And we all have that side that has to get that out, that has to vent. And that's an ugly side, but that's part of human emotion. And that's not a bad thing. It's a bad thing when it metastasizes into something that hurts somebody else. And in this case, with Diddy, it looks like it very much did. Obviously, well, this is a blind reaction, so I don't know what happens here. So I'm very curious to see where our beautiful and smart friend goes with this.
That specifically he said, quote, a history of good works can't wash away the record. He pointed out that two of Diddy's accusers and former girlfriends, Cassie Ventura and a woman who testified under the pseudonym Jane, he talked about their testimony specifically. The judge pointing out that after Diddy publicly apologized for the leaked video of him assaulting Cassie, that Diddy assaulted his current girlfriend, Jane. And this sentence handed down.
This guy could not stop. And, you know, that's really, the universe is going to stop you if you can't stop. Because, look, he was affecting all these people's lives in a negative way. And I just told a friend earlier, I'm on my spiritual journey. And I think you can't move forward in life if you keep hurting people. And if you keep hurting people, the universe is actually going to stop you. And so I guess this happened to Diddy's case. We're going to find out. But was he also a great person in many ways and a loving and great father? I don't know him, but probably, if I'm using my intuition. And all those things can be true. You can hurt people and you can still be a great father at the same time. And it's heartbreaking when that happens because that's very hard for people to understand.
4 years behind bars for Sean Diddy Combs. It comes after Diddy pleaded for mercy, stood up and addressed the judge inside the courtroom. In a shaken voice, he apologized to Cassie Ventura. He apologized to that former girlfriend.
Wow, it sounds like he is just a incredibly intelligent individual with a lot of boxes in his mind. He's been around a long time. He's had a lot of blessings. He's had a lot of thoughts, a lot of things have come to him. He's been in positions to think about a lot of things. However, he also had some trauma he had to work through, it sounds like, and that trauma manifested and metastasized into something that was terrible. And he's paying the price for that now. And I got to give him his props, though, if he indeed apologized like that, because that's huge. I mean, that's the best you can do as a human, is give an apology where you stand in that energy of apology and don't offer any excuses.
Again, known as Jane, and he said he was sorry to all other victims of domestic violence. Diddy called his own behavior disgusting, shameful, and sick, and he said it cost him his career, his reputation, and his family. He also then turned.
Sounds like he's getting some great advice, because that's exactly what you should say to move forward. And so it sounds like whoever his legal team is giving him some amazing advice, because when you say those words, it's almost like the magic words. However, you are making it known that you are guilty, so you pay your price and then you get out. Maybe he's thinking very long term, but this all sounds amazing coming from Diddy, and I'm glad he's smart enough to see what he should do. Because when you say those words, those victims that hear that, and then you get punished, that allows them to move on in the healthiest way possible. They see, look, I'm right, you were wrong. You say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And then you pay the price, and everyone gets to move on. It's horrible it happened, but you did what you needed to do.
In the courtroom to his children and apologized for letting them down, saying that he had not been the father they deserve. And he really pleaded with the judge to give him another chance. But again, ultimately, Will, we now know that the disgraced media mogul, who was once at the height of the music industry, has now been sentenced to 4 years behind bars. The judge said...
And I'm going to be honest, I haven't even heard what she's about to say. It's probably in a Martha Stewart type jail where he's just going to keep advancing his career however he can. And 4 years for destroying people's lives. That's nothing. But and who knows, he may only serve like 2 in this, quasi low security place where he can do all the things he needs to do to keep up with his life. Now, has he ruined his reputation? Of course. He'll have to be a new person, just like Will Smith. And we all make mistakes, but you have to own that mistake and you have to move forward. Now, personally, in my case, Will Smith, he's just carving a unique lane because he does not want to be told that he is wrong, I think. He apologized to Chris Rock, and then he goes back on the apology after he sees Chris Rock didn't like his apology or was still mad at him. I mean, look, bro, you slapped him in public court in the culture. He's allowed to be mad at you. You can't be mad at him for being mad at you. That's crazy. Anyway, that's another issue.
That any of Diddy's past good works could not overstate the record in this case. The witness testimony from women who said they had to endure years of physical and emotional abuse at the hands of...
And just knowing that your abuser is out there and not facing justice, that crushes you.
...the rapper. Will, I want to send it back over to you.
Quick follow-up, CB. The prosecution was looking for anywhere around 11 years, and the defense team for Diddy was looking for something like 14 months. As you mentioned, it came back at 4 years. Was there any visible reaction by Combs in the courtroom when he was handed down that sentence?
Right now, I'm still waiting to get some more details about the reaction that we saw from both sides inside the courtroom. But Will, I do want to point out that the judge said that the requests being made on both ends, he said they were not reasonable requests. And I think that determination on his part ultimately led him to hand down that sentence. I'm looking at my producer who's about to hand me a note in a matter of moments. But right now, we know this sentence has just been handed down from the judge. 4 years behind bars. Like you mentioned, defense attorneys wanted a 14-month sentence.
What's that picture? It looks like he's like, oh, Lord.
Saying that the time Diddy has already spent behind bars was adequate punishment, arguing today that Diddy's businesses and reputation have already been destroyed. Prosecutors, on the other hand, said Diddy was not sorry and that his apology was phony and that there was...
I mean, just because your reputation is ruined doesn't mean you paid the price for destroying these women's lives.
Some serious harm done to the victims of this case. Like you said, they wanted a sentence of at least 11 years. Ultimately, we know a sentence has now been shared with the court of 4...
So, yeah. Basically, I think that's sounds like a very fair decision. And if anything, he did apologize well. He got 4 years. We'll see how much he serves. 11 years may have been a long time for somebody that has done as much for humanity as Diddy has done, moving things forward, even if at sometimes in callous direction, let's say. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been great to have you here, and chunk that deuce. Peace. I'll be right back at you with the next one.